Hello, people. This is Good Natured Kitty. Oh gosh, I messed up my hair. And I am back for another Thursday vlog. Um, it's my hair's terrible right now. uh, oh, one thing I should tell. Sorry. You know that saying, duct tape fixes everything? Not so much. The curling iron I use, it actually has like duct tape on the end and keeps falling off, so we'd have to get a new one. My hair's all funky today, but yeah. um, so it's kind of been a good week. A little inspiring at times. Like I've had a few situations that's kind of made me motivated to work harder on my artwork. The first situation was actually, I can't sleep. A Facebook post that a friend of mine did. You on up here, you turkey. Oh, I saw you looking at me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your life. Oh, it's okay. um, so I was looking at her post and she had a before and after picture of from well, not a before and after picture actually. Picture from when she was working for Mary Kay, and another one for when she was doing her beach body, which she still does today. And in the picture for the Mary Kay, you could see that she didn't seem quite as happy about life. Like, I mean, she seemed happy, but like in the second picture, she had more. She more like had more of a glow to her, and she looked younger and healthier and stuff. So, um, in it, she talks about she started Mary Kay because she wanted to work for herself. I guess she didn't want to work for corporations and businesses that tell you what to do anymore. And she says that she was not motivated to begin with to sell makeup. She's just not that into makeup, not that passionate about it. And it wasn't until she got into her beach body, I think that's the name of it. Anyway, that she started feeling like motivated. And she said she didn't even have to try to sell to people. All she did was she'd tell her motivational stories, and people would ask her questions and take interest in her line of work and stuff. And I could vouch for that. I remember like when she put the posts out, like talking about her situation, how she wasn't depressed anymore, and just showing her befores and afters and everything. And people were pretty enthused about it. And she basically says, if you're gonna sell what motivates you and stuff like this, and or stuff like that. And I told her, that's part of why I ought to just I ought to just leave my job, because I'm not motivated to sell the products that they try to get us to sell. Like I work for a cable company, and they push us to try to. I'm basically, well, I don't work for a cable company. I work under a cable company, if that makes sense. I work for a call center, and then my client's a cable company. And I'm supposed to like troubleshoot internet issues, and they try to push us to sell like cable packages and um, phone and stuff like that. And I just, I don't feel motivated to do that, because these days you got Hulu and Netflix. Why pay all that extra money for cables? I thought that's a terrible way to think when you work for a company like this. And then for landlines, I'm like, well, cell phones have so many more features, and you don't have to pay extra for long distance, depending, I suppose, on which way to go for, maybe. But I haven't seen any situation where people still have to pay long distance on those cell phones, and you get internet on them, and you get to do call waiting, and I don't know. You get everything on the cell phone. For the phone, you have to pay for the extra features, and you can't really use the internet, although you have to hook them up to modems, which is interesting. But anyway, this hair's driving me nuts. I'm just gonna move it over here. It's really hard for me to fix my hair while I'm on camera. It's like I get so disoriented. But there you go. Anyway, but then anyway, that was probably on Friday morning when I saw that post, I'm guessing. And then on Saturday, I happened to be working, and I got a customer who needed to start these services and stuff. And, I went through the process of getting his modem added on and stuff. Not so much getting his service put in, because that's the sales job, but just getting the modem up and ready to go and finishing out the work order for him. And towards the end of the call, like, we had gotten the services up and running, and he says, "So could I give you a little bit of advice?" And he says, "Start your own business." He says, "Don't work under other people's ambitions. They tell you when to work and what to do." And he says, find what makes you passionate and go out and do it." And I said, my passion is art. And he says, "Well, then put yourself out there on social media and like make yourself known and stuff." And so that was kind of cool having that call. And like shortly after I talked to him, I started practicing my drawing skills while on calls and between calls. And the third motivation is just, they keep making all these changes at our workplace and everything. And first they made it so that it's harder for us to make sales. Like, it used to be that you can handle transfers and get everything set up for that. And that's how I'd make my sales, is by handling transfers. I got really good at it. Not anymore. Can't do it anymore. And we have to transfer them to sales. So that means that we have to transfer people more often. And people love that, But that sucked. And then they started doing this thing of like saying, well, if their bill does not go up in price, you're not going to get a sale out of it. And a lot of us are like, well, that sucks. So like when we try to get discounts up the wazoo and try to make it so that they can now have cable and internet for lower than what they're paying for just internet, if their price doesn't come up, I guess, from what I understand, we don't get a sell on that, which motivates me even less to try to sell cable. I don't want people's bill to go up, because I get so many customers talk about how expensive internet is and how high their bill is already. And some of them are on really huge budgets, and it's like, I know not everybody's on a budget, not everybody's unhappy with their price, but I just, I don't want to go there. I'd rather lower the bill. And so I'll still find ways to discount some of the people's price, even though I'm not going to get anything out of it. But I'm just not into selling for that job anymore. And then now they're monitoring our usage of a certain tool even more. And we had a way of like trying to keep our usage up really high, and some people could get like well above 100%, which is quite interesting. Like you think the norm would be 100. But now we're told that we can't use some of those methods anymore. And not only that, but we were handed out sheets to where we have to keep track of how what which calls we're making using the tools at. And it's like it's kind of getting tiring, really. Just all the things that they keep doing, all the buttons they keep pushing with me and everything. It's just like it gets to the point where it's like, why am I even doing this anymore? This is ridiculous. And you know, part of what kept me at that job for so long was that I love the feeling of like helping people. I love the feeling of when I actually succeed at getting their internet up, because it's really important for so many people that they have that internet going. Like they have kids in school, some of them are going to online school, desperately need it. And then there's people who I really, really feel for when I can't get the internet up, and that's the people who work from home. I feel so bad, like how often some of these people who work from home, they have their internet cut out constantly. And you know, I think it'd be cool if they could create like maybe offices that you can rent out whenever the internet's not working well at home, for like a fair price, because it's not something to where you want to go to a coffee shop and get on their internet and do it. It's not going to work so well. Be nice if there was alternatives like that. Maybe someone could try and start a business like that, but I don't know. Like, and just have it for a reasonable price to where the person could afford to. I don't know, but anyway, enough about that idea. Um, well, anyway, this has just been stuff that's been kind of pushing me more and more to want to work on my art and thinking about what I really want. Because, I've done, for so long, I've chased different dreams, and none of them were ones that I was really wanted deep down inside. I've always loved to draw and paint and create. I love the feeling that I get when I'm creating. Um, when I was in high school, my last year of high school, I remember my art teacher saying, "When are you going to start applying for art schools?" And I don't remember how I responded, but at the time I was thinking, yeah, that's not going to happen because you got to have a fallback plan. And they talk about that so much. You got to have a fallback plan if you're going to do stuff like that, because you might not be successful. And my fallback plan was teaching. I was going to be a teacher. So went to college and worked towards getting a degree in teaching. And here's what happens, or at least what happened to me. When you try to do something that really isn't like the main thing you want to do, you start out enthused because you're thinking, well, I'll be able to have an income and I'll be able to support my future family and stuff like that. And you go in and slowly but surely, like you start getting these courses that don't interest you in the least bit, and you're like, okay, I just gotta try and push through this, and it gets harder and harder, and your motivation just dwindles. At least that's what I went through. And it got to the point where I wasn't even motivated to do my homework. I wasn't motivated to study. I just, I started going to therapy even because I was really depressed at that time to begin with. And um, I tried getting what do they call them? A mentor to help me through. And nothing really worked. And eventually I failed out of college, and I thought, well, I don't want to flip burgers the rest of my life. And this gets funny because here I went into Job Corps, so I would never have to take on a job where I flip burgers. And I was originally going to go into graphic design, but they kind of talk you out of it by saying, well, you have to get a job within the first 6 months, otherwise you fall behind. And later down the road, I even learned that their equipment they use for graphic design was way outdated anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to get a job as a graphic designer based on that equipment they used. Yeah. So I went into culinary arts and got my certificate, met Lucas, so it wasn't all for naught, and we moved up to where we're living now, which we didn't stay. This just happened to be a place that we moved. And guess what job I ended up getting? Not so much flipping burgers at McDonald's, but I was working at fast food. I was working at Dairy Queen. I did cashiering and I made ice cream treats. Didn't even get behind the grill ever while working there. Within the few months, I don't know how long of working there, I never flipped burgers, but my first job out of Job Corps, the place that I went to avoid taking on a minimum wage job, was a minimum wage job doing the very thing that I feared. So life can really humble you sometimes and teach you that sometimes you can prep and try to avoid things, but they'll come anyway. And yeah, I had some jobs that were more geared to what I was trained for, like the main one that would be worth mentioning is probably when I was a line cook. But I didn't do so well with the line cook job. The first one I did, I wasn't at too long because I had to move, but I enjoyed it, but man was it stressful. The second one, I ended up living back at my hometown at the time I was doing it, and memories started pouring back, and I became really depressed. And eventually, I couldn't hold myself together for the job anymore. Um, isn't it funny how things can do that to you? But I eventually pulled away from culinary arts altogether because I got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. Any sort of fast food preparation jobs just didn't work for me, whether it be fast food or line cooking or whatever. I even tried bakery at one time, but the Dunkin' Donut job wasn't too bad when I did do. No, I wasn't working for Dunkin' Donuts, I'm saying, but I did a job where I dunked donuts for a living. That wasn't too bad, but anyway, it just wasn't for me. So after that, I did go back to college and I was going for human services, and I actually enjoyed that. I wouldn't mind going back into it. Of course, here we don't have human service programs, we have social service, but I'm kind of worried about how many credits I might lose and how far back I'll be, but I might go back to college just the same. But it just seems like any job I've had, it's never like felt right. Like, I mean, it feels nice at first, like I get excited, I have a new job sort of thing. And I always like eventually like my motivation just dwindles, just like when I went to college in my younger years. Like I started out motivated and just started dwindling like crazy. And that's how it is with any job I've had. Like I just can't stay motivated for it. I don't feel like I belong there. I'd like to be somewhere that makes me passionate, because I know there's people who have jobs like that. I have another friend on Facebook who does photography for a living, and she talks about how she loves her job, and she'll put up posts of her pictures sometimes, and they're beautiful, and I just, you know, you can really tell a difference between people who love what they do and people who just work just because, and it really seems to drain them, and it drains me. Some people can pull it together and be fine with it, but I've tried it for so long, and it's just not fun. And I think it is, I've been thinking more and more that it is time that I try to make something with my art. This doesn't mean I'm going to quit my job or anything, of course, and just try it all willy-nilly like that, but I'm going to be working more and more towards my drawing, because that's where I want to start, is like drawing pictures and putting them out. And I'm still working towards the idea of like doing the art show and everything. But anyway, I've been, with all the practicing I've been doing, I had decided that I was going to see how far I've gotten so far with my progress. I've had to redo this a couple times, but here's what I did like a few months back, I'd say. And that's what I mean myself. This is one that I did yesterday, but I don't think I did it right. It doesn't look like me. It's cute though. It's cute, but it doesn't look like I did as a teenager. And then this is the one I'm still working at. I'm not done with it, but I think it's a little closer to what I need to be doing. And I've been really utilizing the different shading abilities of the pens, the charcoal pencils and stuff. But I feel like this is a little better. I feel like I'm getting a little more on point with what I'm trying to work to accomplish. And so I think my practicing is like working. I just got to keep at it. Pretty soon I'm gonna start like creating drawings that I'd seriously want to put out, and I got to figure out how I'd package them. Like maybe I'll just put them in a piece, like a baggy sort of thing, or I'll have to see what Michael Scott has for like displaying stuff like that. Maybe I know you can even get like those frame things. What are they called? Not frames, but the things that put inside frames. Sorry, I don't blank, but I could do something like that anyway. Even, I know there's something you can put over the drawing too when you finish to preserve it so it doesn't smudge. So I'll have to get some of that. And I feel like drawing is where I'm at right now. I've been most passionate about working on my drawing skills, and I'd like to get to the point where I can eventually make realistic and ultra realistic drawings. I'm not going to go off and say, but I don't think it'll happen, because I think it can if I keep working at it. There's some points that I really need to get better at, of course. Eyelashes is one. I feel like I need to work on lips a little better too. And hands. Hands are so hard. There's so many things that hands could do. Like, so many, like, things. And you got all these different appendages, which just makes it so hard. Like, all the ways that it can bend and everything. It's so aggravating. Just, like, all the things that hands do. Just, I hate drawing hands, but at the same time, I love when I do it right, when I can actually accomplish what I'm trying to do with the hand. It makes me so happy. It's just that challenging, and so I'm gonna keep working on hands, because I enjoy it when I can actually accomplish it right, but Uh, when you can't get it right, you want to pull your hair out. I'm telling you. Um, but yeah, so gonna keep working on drawings, and then what I what my plan is when is oh shoot. I'm gonna start looking into when the art show will come along. Because I'm sure there's bound to be ones within this town, and I'll look into what I need to do to display my art for one and everything. And I know there's usually fees and stuff, and I'd have to figure out how I'm going to display it. I might even need to get my own table. Um, I know some of them you can rent a table, some of them you have to bring your own. Depends on the art show. I remember I was in high school, the first time I ever did an art show. I did probably 2 of them. Is this thing called Art Rendezvous, and my dad actually made a thing that I could put behind me. The prompts he should have used that stuff that you usually use to hook like tools on, but he used just plain like board, and I'd actually have to drive the nails in and everything, and that was a pain. I had some people who would help me because they felt for me, and they wanted me to make the best of it and everything, but it was such a pain. I actually managed to win in a drawing while being in one of the art shows, so it was like I won a lamp that you hook onto a painting, so that was kind of cool. But and then they give you all sorts of magazines, and I started doing subscriptions of art magazine and watercolor magazine, and I had started getting catalogs from Cheap Joe's Art Supply, which is a pretty cool catalog. I should probably try getting another catalog from them because they're pretty cool. They got some really nice stuff in there for good prices. Anyway, so yeah, art's going good. Everything else is going good, like the exercise. I try to work mostly on core right now. Yesterday I did arms. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Like sometimes I'll just do a bunch of stretches if I'm sore. But exercise is exercise, so as long as I'm doing some. I actually found that I'm most attracted to the ones from, I think they call it Fitness Blend or something like that. But they're pretty good. They have like Kelly and Daniel, and they're pretty down to earth, so I like watching them. And for the getting rid of stuff goal, I'm on my last box, and I actually got a lot of stuff in there right now. Mostly because my husband let me get rid of all of his old blue shirts that he used to use for when he worked at Walmart. He has like a ton, and so I got to throw them all into the junk box, so that was nice. Yeah, I'm really excited to get that one filled up and get that goal finished. That's my last box. Once I fill that one up and take it to the thrift store, I get to work on other things and trying to improve my home, improve my apartment, and just demonstrate my appreciation for living here. And because I love this apartment, it's cute. It's very old, but it's cute. I like the blue color in the living room. I wish the whole apartment was blue. Some of it's poorly painted, but yeah. So yeah, I've been doing good. Alongside of doing my daily verses, I've been doing a daily bread that I downloaded onto my tablet. So I've been staying on point with my goals pretty good. And the tablet's been helping more than anything. It helps me to have ideas of things to draw. Like I have apps and all sorts of stuff that I use. Well, 2 of them actually, mainly now. I used to have 3. And then I have my learning Spanish app, and I also learn Japanese with it. But it's getting so hard because they try to get you to learn the characters too, and it's like I try to find ways to recognize those characters based on the shapes. Like for NO, it actually looks like one of those no signs for no smoking, kind of. So I remember it that way. And for N, it actually looks more like an H, but I still think of it as an N that's was almost made to an H or something. Just stuff like that. Just try to remember what the characters are, but it's so hard. And then they try to get you to figure out what the word is based on the characters or something. I don't know. It's ridiculously hard. I could do the Spanish okay. I'm doing really good with the Spanish, but not to the point where I try to speak it in front of you guys. So I love the tablet just the same. It's really helpful. I get to learn languages and work on my art, and I've been using that for my art more than my old books and stuff. So awesome. But anyway, I'm continuing the point system that I started last week too, which is definitely keeping me on point with things, and because I want to be able to have time for my games and anime and whatnot, so I'm always like, well, I gotta get it done somehow. But anyway, I thank you guys for watching. I'll be back this next Thursday to do another video with you guys, and my goals for this week is I'm going to continue working on the drawing that I'm doing of myself from when I was a teenager, and I'm going to continue practicing techniques for drawing realistic drawings. Maybe if I finish that one up, maybe I'll start drawing some that I can actually show off in a show. And I've got different types of paper I could use for that, and I'm gonna look at Michael's and see what I'd be able to package in my drawings I do, and I might even talk my husband into getting some ink for my printer so I can do printouts of like my work, so I can sell like prints as well as originals when the time comes. And I need to look into when the art shows will likely go in this town, when there will be art shows and stuff. So so those will be my goals. I'll keep doing what I'm doing for the exercise. I think I'm doing pretty good with that. And oh, and I hope you guys have a good Easter. Yeah, this week is Easter. Tomorrow's Good Friday, so have fun finding eggs and whatnot. I might let myself eat 1 egg for the sake of Easter. It won't like kill my face. I'm still working on the gluten-free thing, by the way. Gonna keep pushing forward with that because I know I won't see instant results, even though my face is still kind of icky looking. I'll keep on doing that. But anyway, hope you guys have a good Easter. I'll see you next Thursday, and bye-bye.